YouTube channel. I'm Lagos Lady Diver. I'm based out of Lagos, Nigeria. I'm a recreational diver and I'd like to walk you through my diving journey, how I started, how it's going, and I love to dive and I'm just learning. So come along with me while I walk you through my journey. So my wreck diving journey started back in 2017. I had just relocated back to Nigeria from the US and I wanted to go for vacation. For me as a Nigerian passport holder, my key priority most times are looking for a country that is either visa free or visa on arrival. So I knew I wanted to go to Kenya for sure because I had a friend there. He's a Reverend Father and he had been asking me to come visit. So I was like, you know what, why not do another country with Kenya? And then I started doing a bit of research and Seychelles came, kind of popped up on my radar. So I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, Seychelles to Kenya, not a far distance, we'll do Seychelles. So I started asking a couple of people around, colleagues and friends. And one of my friends was like, hey, you know what, Seychelles is a romance, it's kind of like a honeymoon getaway destination. What are you going to go do there? And I was like, that's a very good question, right? But I found that, Seychelles has 3 islands, Mahé, La Digue, and Praline. And basically, you're just going to spend a bunch of time by the water. So I was like, I'll figure it out when I get there. So I went to Seychelles. I spent a huge amount of time, by the water. They have beautiful, beautiful beaches, by the way. The water is from the Indian Ocean. And I was like, you know what? I want to go scuba diving. And bear in mind, this is a girl that cannot swim. Right, so I'm like, I'm gonna go scuba diving. So I started making some inquiries. I reached out to a couple of scuba schools there, and they're like, yeah, sure, you can come scuba diving. You do the divers discovery dive. You go with a personal instructor. You don't need to know how to dive. They'll put you through some paces and then you can go dive. So I was like, okay. So I paid the fee. And the D-Day came and I was nervous. I was very, very nervous. And we got on a truck. At first I thought like this is where we're gonna dive, but then we got on a truck and then we kind of went downtown or somewhere farther on to get to the boats that would take us to the dive destination. And then they gave me my wetsuit. It was a shorty. And I did a video right here, which you'll see in a minute, where I was actually saying I was scared. And this is 5 years ago. Actually, make that almost 6 years ago now. This was 5 years ago. I was like, I could not believe I was about to go underwater with an oxygen tank, having no idea of how to swim. So, hi. Do you see me wearing this weird looking suit? I'm about to go scuba diving. No, this is scuba. Sorry. I'm about to go scuba diving for the very first time ever. I'm a little bit scared, but not like terribly scared. And this is the water in which we're gonna be scuba diving. I'll show you my full gear, like when I have my oxygen tank and the breathing mask and everything. And I know we're gonna go out to the sea on a boat. And we're gonna dive about 8 meters. Okay, so you see the video, just up above my head here, where I'm getting kitted into the scuba diving kit. So I didn't know what all of this was called at the time. I just knew that I was going to go underwater, maybe like go down 8 to 10 meters and see some fish, some coral, maybe some jellyfish and whatnot. So I get kitted with the scuba equipment, comes with this oxygen tank. It comes with like the buoyancy control device, which is like the jacket that you inflate and you deflate to keep yourself kind of floating on the water. And you have like the regulator, which you put in your mouth and that passes the oxygen from the tank into your mouth and into your lungs. And then you have your goggles to protect your eyes from seawater or, any debris in the water. And then what else? Yeah, you have your fins to, propel you forward. So I'm, getting dressed. Someone is like videoing me, and I'm like, oh my god, in my head I'm going like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I can't believe like I'm about to like enter the water. And I'm looking all calm, like presumably calm, but in my mind I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. So the couple of other people on the boats who are experienced divers, so they're going as a group, like in a buddy system. So on the recrew dive, which I'll be, telling you more about in a bit, you go in a buddy system for safety reasons. So they were dropped off first. They were going a bit deeper than I was, and then I and my instructor, we went second. So we start descending. So he told me, right, that when you start to descend, you've got to equalize, because when you go underwater, your gas compresses, the air you have compresses in your body, and that means you have to equalize to kind of bring it back to balance. I don't know how to explain technical terms. Hopefully I'll get to it. Right, so for you to equalize, you got to, hold your nose through your face mask and blow like you're trying to get rid of mucus. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I got it. So we go underwater and we start going, and I don't know, maybe we're about 4 meters, 5 meters, and I'm trying to orient myself underwater. This is like a totally new experience for me, and I'm trying to adjust my face mask and what I'm trying to equalize at the same time, and I'm trying to breathe. So it's like doing 4 things at once. And at the point when I'm trying to equalize, water starts to get into my face mask. So it's kind of like clogging up my nose. But I mean, technically, you don't need your nose to breathe underwater. All you need is your mouth. Just keep breathing. So the water enters, my face mask, and I'm trying to blow it out, but it's not working. I'm trying to equalize. I'm having a dull throbbing in my ears. And at a point, I just panic. I panic, and I take out my regulator. And my instructor's like, what the? So he basically inflates my BCD, my buoyancy control device, and he yanks me up back to the surface. So I'm gasping for air. I take off my face mask. I mean, the good thing is the Indian Ocean is very calm. So the water in Seychelles is very, very calm. So this dive was actually on the island of Mahé. He was like, you never, ever take off your regulator when you're underwater. You never do. Never, right? And of course, when you're doing all these extreme sports, of which scuba diving is one of them, they make you sign all this, disclaimer forms that says, you're basically doing a dangerous sport. So anything that happens, if you die, it's your liability. And you sign, because I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, you're not the first person to go diving. So I'm sure other people have gone diving and they're fine. So I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I was just kind of scared. And water got in my nose and I couldn't breathe. He was like, you don't need your nose to breathe. Just use your regulator and breathe through your mouth. So it's like, okay, breathe in, breathe out. Are you okay now? I said, yes, I'm fine. He said, are you ready to go back in the water, or you want to go back to the boat? I was like, girl, you just paid over $100 for this dive. We're going to finish this dive right here, right now. So I told him, yes, I want to go back into the water. So I was like, okay, good. So I put on back my face mask, put my regulator back in my mouth, and we went underwater. And it took a while for me to kind of get my equilibrium, but I, gradually found my rhythm underwater, and I could start to relax a little bit. I wouldn't say I was totally relaxed. Remember, I can't swim, and this is my first time under the ocean, right? So I wasn't totally relaxed, and then I started to a little bit enjoy the dive. I could relax enough to look around, observe, see the coral, look at the little fish. When the instructor was pointing out stuff to me, I could see that. You see that in the video up there, and I'll show you a bit of clips as well. So yeah, it was a short dive. I think we spent 20 minutes underwater, and then we came back up, and I loved it so much I just had to go back for a second round. So I paid for a second round, and then when on my second round, while I was waiting, there was a family, the dad, mom, and the two grown-up kids. They're like adult kids basically. So they had paid for family dive, but the mom, when she got on the boat, she was like, nope, I'm not getting in. I think they were Indian. She was like, nope, I'm not getting in. I was like, I don't know how to swim either. I just came back from a dive and I'm going for my second one, and I panicked, trust me, but it was a wonderful experience. She was like, nope, I'm not going up. And I mean, I can totally relate, right? Having just had a near close shave experience. But if you're someone who likes to, challenge yourself, face your fears, kind of, give a little bit of blow to and thumb your nose at the odds, I'll say go for it. So yeah, I went for my second dive. It was much more relaxing than the first. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was able to get the use of a GoPro. I think it was a GoPro 6 or 7 at the time, to take some videos and shots underwater, and I totally loved it. And I told myself, like, I'm going to get certified someday, sometime soon. So my next journey, you'll be hearing how I walk towards getting certified. So see you next time.